So when did the deconstruction of what you were taught in your sociology classes, when did that happen for you?
Ooh, you getting real up into my personal business now. My goodness. Okay, I'm gonna grab my coffee.
You go right ahead. You don't have to say anything you don't want to. There's no coercion
Oh
here.
no.
I'm a very curious man. So I just ask what comes to mind.
No, I am happy to share. So get home in 2018. I come home with PTSD. And I moved in with a friend and her family, my friend Krista. And she's a theologian, and we just started having conversations. Now, she would probably describe me as being angry, but I didn't think I was angry. I just think that I'm, outspoken and probably say a lot of things. And so
you weren't angry, you were right.
Exactly. And we just got into conversations about race and like things that I was seeing here. And I would just plainly tell her, yeah, I know you think that, but that's just because you're privileged. Like that's just because of your white privilege. And it's because you hold on to a very white Christianity. Like Christianity is truly a white man's religion. Now, I was Christian. I don't know if I was making exceptions for myself or if I had a way of kind of threading out some things. And I think that's more it of like, yeah, white people believe this is white Christianity. They don't like to do this. They don't like to do that. At Biola, I did spend time in my friend's grandfather's church, which was an all Black church. And so I did come back to that a little bit, but I would have these conversations quite openly. You and your family are white and you guys have a privilege that I don't have. Talking like, oh gosh, we would have conversations and we would both get angry. And I would tell her, well, you're only angry because you're fragile. Like, this is white fragility. Like,
so you were really up on this stuff.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You had all the words.
Oh, I had all the words and all the answers.
Okay.
And it was after while I'm having this conversation with her, I'm having another conversation at work with an intern who is like, she's white and she's at another Christian school here. And she's telling me things about all the Black children come to school and, they tell us that we shouldn't speak and that we're wicked and that our skin color is evil. And so now she's crying at work about, her things that are happening. I'm having this conversation over here with Krista. And on the sidelines, I'm having a conversation with the Lord of, can you please let Krista know and her family know that Black people don't have things good here in America, and that we need to be doing this anti-racist work. We should be speaking out about these things. I'm very vocal. Like, I've always been an advocate for the underdog. And so I remember in a conversation with the Lord where I was pretty much, don't yell at Jesus. It's not right. You shouldn't do it. I'm gonna tell you now. And he was so gentle and so kind in my prayer time, but it was just impressed upon my heart that I had to repent for believing social justice. Now, CRT never came up in this. It was just, I needed to repent for believing in social justice. And I remember I nearly fainted.
Because that sounds just wrong. I mean,
Well,
Jesus calling out social justice.
It was wrong. And I didn't know how to tell the Lord, you must be believing something wrong with Jesus. Maybe we should go to God the Father, because can we take this, And so I began to just ask, what am I repenting from? What is this? And he slowly began to show me areas where places in my heart were racist, where I was holding on to things that weren't true, like systemic racism. And that doesn't mean that there isn't any systemic racism, but everything isn't a systemic injustice. Even if certain people on certain sides of the fence might be saying that it is. Inheritance is not a systemic injustice, although some people would say it is. Being done with the white male patriarchy. Well, or looking at issues of hierarchy. Hierarchy is found in the Bible. You know, so how do I hold both of these ideas in, you know, in both of my hands? Like on this hand, I'm down with hierarchy. On this hand, I'm like, but I love God. Well, wait a minute. This is a problem. How do I reconcile these? Looking at the idea that white people are really just the oppressor. Well, what does the Lord say? Like, what am I saying about his children? One, and then two, what does he say about his children, and how should I approach and address them? There was a lot, and it started with repenting from social justice, and then digging deep into the framework of critical race theory. I had to first understand my own actions and the things that I personally was holding on to and doing, to be able to look at what was behind them, which was the framework, and look at historically, what has the church believed? Historically, how has the church handled certain situations? And it's been over 2 years, or just over 2 years, maybe just 2 years now. But it's been a journey, and maybe in November of last year is when the Lord told me that he wanted me to start speaking out about the ills and wrongs of critical race theory, especially within the church. And yeah, that he would just guide me on it, that this is where the Center for Biblical Unity came from.